In the first episode of this 265-gallon Marineland Monterey aquarium build, we moved this monster of an aquarium into my basement. I don't know if you remember, but it was raining outside. My help was late.
Nobody's here yet to help me. Brian has become late somehow.
And the tank inevitably got a little bit dirty on the inside from the rain and just, generally sitting out there for about an hour and a half. So I really wanted to get this tank cleaned up first so that I can then tell you why I picked this tank and stand specifically and give you some details on the build itself and what I'm planning to do with this monster of an aquarium. So let's get to cleaning this sucker. But first off, I'm gonna need some help taking that canopy off. Brian. I think I'm really going to want a magnetic algae scraper for this aquarium because I know I don't want to be up on a stool like this every time. And with the canopy, you can imagine I would be squished in here. So, magnetic algae cleaner, adding that to the list of things I'm going to want. The inside's pretty clean now. I'm not too worried about it. All the dirt's out. It looks nice. It's time to get the outside looking about the same. I don't typically use Windex or anything like that on aquariums, especially when the top's open like this, just because I don't want any of that chemical going into the tank. So for now, it's just going to be water and paper towel, because that's the safest. The Marineland Monterey cabinetry is built really solid. It's all wood grain, which is great. Even with the black finish, it's coming through nicely. You can see the wood grain, it's beautiful. The wood panel doors are nice and light. They're easy to open. They're not hard on the hinges, so you don't have to worry about that or them sagging over time. And the stands have a ton of space inside of them. And with this longer 7-foot stand for the 265-gallon, they actually omit a support right here in favor of having the extra space so you can slide in a big sump if you need it. There's supports on both sides at the back and also right here. So this tank's not going anywhere with this stand, provided that everything's level. Another great feature of the 24-inch deep Monterey stands is you actually have access from the side as well. The side panels slide out, completely removable, so that you can access your equipment from the side if necessary. I personally really love the overall modern look and feel of the Monterey cabinets. They have absolutely fantastic detail, which you can see around the doors and the sides. Long story short, it's really pleasing to the eye without being obtrusive to the display. And the canopy completely matches the stand. It's got the exact same detail going up the corners, the same modern finishes. It's got the same style panel doors, nice and light, so it's not hard on the hinges. Doors easy to open and close. You've got 3 doors up here that give you plenty of access for when you want to do maintenance or even feeding your fish, which is key because if you can't get in and out of your canopy, it's really not helping you out at all. Marineland did a good thing by making so many doors on this canopy, nice big open access. The canopy's got a lot of space on the inside for light fixtures, and it's got venting. You've got a vent right in the top, and then all the way across the back is vented, so it's not going to trap heat, which is super important. And another feature, which I think is absolutely stellar on this particular canopy, is that when it comes time to do maintenance, the whole front of the canopy lifts up on hinges, which is perfect. Even if you're deciding to redecorate or on initially setting up and decorating the tank, if you wanted to, you could just put the canopy up and do everything in there. Unfortunately, I've got low ceilings, which means I can't flip this canopy all the way up and back onto itself, which it's designed to do. So I'm gonna have to find some kind of cabinetry hardware that will maybe stick up in the corners there and keep the canopy open so I can actually work on it. I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet, but when I do, I'll be sure to show you guys. Now, when it comes to glass aquariums, I've been using Marineland tanks for the better part of 15 years. So when I decided to put a giant tank in my basement, I knew for a fact right away it was going to be a Marineland. But I wasn't sure how big it was going to be. As soon as I saw the 265, I knew I had to have it. The 265-gallon tank is 7 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 2.5 feet tall. So that's a lot of tank. This Marineland 265-gallon tank has an immaculately clean silicone seal, which is not only important for the structural integrity of the aquarium, because the last thing you want is a poor silicone job that could lead to leaking or even a burst seam, but is important for the visual effect, because if you have a runny or messy silicone line, it's going to take away from the aquarium, right? Your eye's going to get drawn to that mess instead of the beauty inside the aquarium. Marineland did a really good job making sure to use black silicone where you can see it so that it ties in well with the standing canopy rather than taking your eye away from what's important. Marineland uses high quality, low distortion glass, and they bevel the edges for a nice clean look and feel. The trim that Marineland uses on the 265-gallon is really nice looking trim. It's a step up from what you'd expect to see on a regular aquarium. It's rounded and looks more like a picture frame, so that if you're not using a canopy and your stand may or may not show the trim, the tank still looks fantastic sitting there on its own. Embedded in the trim for further structural support and to prevent bowing, you've got a couple of solid center braces. It's really important though that you make sure you never lift the aquarium by a center brace and never fill an aquarium that has center braces that are broken. They're there for a reason. Now the 265 Corner-Flo model has an overflow panel in each corner of the aquarium and a pair of 1-inch holes drilled in the bottom of the aquarium behind each of those panels. The Marineland Corner-Flo system has your intake guard right at the top for surface extraction, but they also have a guard at the midway point a little bit closer to the bottom of the overflow, and that actually gives you suction at the midway point in your tank, so you're also taking water from within the aquarium, and there's a channel that it flows behind, up, and then over, and they've ingeniously designed it so you can, when necessary, take the front panel off and give it a good cleaning. Marineland also includes the bulkheads, the Durso-style drain pipe, the outflow pipe, and a ball socket-style return with all of their Corner-Flo systems. Another reason I've placed so much trust in Marineland as a company is that they include a 2-year warranty on the stand and canopy, as well as a limited lifetime warranty on the aquarium itself. If they have that kind of faith in their equipment, so do I. You may have noticed that this end of the aquarium is up on shims, and that's because my floor is very, very sloped towards the center of the basement where the drain is, which means I'm going to have to put some effort into getting this level. If you don't have a level aquarium, and I mean dead level, you risk the aquarium rupturing a seam or even cracking under the uneven pressure of water within the tank. So I'm going to have to come up with a clever solution on how to make this tank level. And that's because even with those 5 shims in that corner, this tank's still not level. Besides the fact that I'd have to make it evenly shimmed all the way across. So I'll come up with a solution, and when I do, I'll let you know what it is. So why am I doing this 265 build? Well, we just recently moved, and I don't have an aquarium of my own here. The only aquarium that's in the house is my wife's aquarium with a betta and some guppies, but that's hers, and I don't really have anything to do with it. And I wanted something for myself to, play with and have some fish and enjoy, because that's why I do this, right? That's what I thought. But then I also had the thought that I'm making a playroom for my daughter in the basement, so I could put in a nice big aquarium there where she could also enjoy it. So now I'm not only just selfishly keeping a tank for myself, but I'm actually doing something nice for my daughter for her playroom. And I figured, bigger the better, right? The bigger the tank is, the easier it is for her to look at and enjoy. And I'm gonna fill it full of big colorful fish that are gonna essentially move around and catch her attention and hopefully be therapeutic for her and also give her an interest in the hobby for later in life. So a lot of details regarding this build are still up in the air. For instance, I have no idea yet what I'm going to do for filtration. I just know I want a ton of it so that the maintenance is a bit more hands-off and we spend more time enjoying the tank and less time fooling around with it. I also know that I want a really bright light on there because it's also for my daughter and she's going to be watching the tank from the floor. And if those fish aren't lit up nice and bright, she might not notice them as much, which would be unfortunate. So big bright light as well. And who knows, I don't even know what livestock I'm putting in there yet. That's all decisions I'm gonna make down the road. And that road, you get to follow me on, because every episode that we film here is gonna be on a different aspect of this aquarium build. For instance, next episode is gonna be on filtration, in which you get to see what I've chosen to stick on this tank whenever I decide to choose it. And by the way, if you'd like to, throw your suggestions in the comment section below. Maybe let me know what you would do if this was your tank. That's a big tank, but I'm sure you have some ideas. So throw them out there and don't forget to subscribe, because this series is not going to wait for you. It's just going to keep going. If you don't subscribe, you might miss something, which would be unfortunate because it's going to be cool. And as always, you should keep on tanking, but with me here during this build. And I might bring my daughter into a few shots because she's really cute.